Hi, I'm Pablo Aviles, and I'm going to explain question 4 of exam 2 from fall 2012. First, let's look at the code we have. We have a string word with an A, and then we have a for loop. It's going to loop 4 times, and in the word A, every time it loops, it's going to call the method A that we're going to write, and it's gonna pass whatever's returned from calling the method A with the word, and then we're gonna print whatever's in word. So let's look at our output. So we have first the word A, which is what we start with, and then we have 2 A's on the right side, and we have 4 spaces on the left side. So what this means is that every time we call the method, we have to add 1 A and 2 spaces. This question is testing your knowledge on methods and how they pass values and how they return values. So what you have to make sure you know is that when you call a method and you give it a parameter, what this is going to do is it's going to copy whatever's in this variable and it's going to make a new variable on your method. So we have public static string, so this method is going to return a string, and it's taking the string A, which in this case is going to be word. So whatever's in word is going to be copied to A, and then we can use the variable A in the method. To solve this question, you have to make sure how you understand how variables are passed when you call methods and how they are returned. And make sure one misconception you can probably have is that when you call a method and you manipulate the variable in the method, you might think you're also changing it in the main method, which is not the case. You're only copying it. So let's change this a little bit. So if your method would be written public static string A, and it would take the string word, it could make it kind of confusing because you're thinking you're manipulating word in the main method, but you're actually only changing a copy of the variable. So I have copied and pasted the main method we got and the method. So let's write it. So we want 2 variables. This is gonna copy A. So we're gonna get a copy of A here. So the variable A has A. So what we want is a string. It's gonna be what we're gonna have in the front, which is gonna be a space, and then we're gonna have a string on the back, which is gonna be the A. So let's have front. It's gonna equal the space plus A, and then the back will equal the front plus an A. And then we're going to return the back. What this is going to do is it's going to take the string, a copy of A. Now it's going to add a space before it, and it's going to add an A after it. Now once you return it, here you're going to have the A with a space before and the A after, one A after, and you're going to use that string and you're going to call A again. So it's going to take a copy of that string which has 1 space before and 1 A after, and it's going to do the same process. It's going to add another space and another A, and it's going to return, and then word is going to have that variable, and now you're going to print out V equals plus whatever's in word. Since you're looping this 4 times, you're gonna be adding more and more every time you loop. Now, if we run it, you see we have on each time it goes through the loop, it's gonna be adding 2 more letters. So you have 4 A's here. You're gonna have 6 A's, and then you're gonna have 8 A's, and it's also gonna add 2 more spaces every time. In order to prepare for these types of questions, you have to make sure you understand loops, how they work, and how they iterate, and then you have to understand how you call methods and how you expect an out, like something to be returned, and how you can use that again to call the same method. Now let's try to change this a little bit so we can understand it better. So let's say this is gonna call a different method called B, which is gonna take the same word, and whatever B returns, it's gonna call A. No, because you're only copying whatever's here, then if you have this new call, the only thing you have to do is you have to have another method which does the exact same thing. And this should produce the exact same output if we check it. Produces the exact same output as before. Another way this question would be different is if in one of the methods they send one more parameter. For example, they send the I. So if you run this right now, it would give you a compiler error because the method only takes a string. So in order for this to work, if you were to add only int here, this would also give you a compiler error because this one is only taking the string here. So you would not be passing an int. So in order to solve this, you would need to copy this whole method again. And then overload it. And that way, if you compile this, it will compile. And now if we change the overloaded one, and let's say we add the I here, we'll get this output, because in the case that it has an integer, it will call this method, and if it only has a string, it will call this method. This is CSE2.